LCBN television broadcasts 24/7 on UK Freeview Channel 271, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, Google TV, See Love World, LCBNTV.com, LifeComTV.com.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Lydia. Thank you for joining me this evening. I know we had a program scheduled that some of you have seen the post talking about depression, but in the light of what has happened in Nigeria in the last couple of days, I couldn't just carry on business as usual. I felt it was important for us who live in the diaspora to hear really what is the SARS movement about. As a mother, as a Christian, as a person, I don't think anybody would not be outraged as to what happened from what was a peaceful protest that ended with exactly what the youth were talking about: police brutality, the abuse of power. And it has ended up with some young people dying. So the fear that they were exhibiting, the reason they came to protest, actually we saw it come to life. This evening, I've got two gentlemen who are going to talk about what really is the SARS movement, what to help us bring an understanding, bring names to these stories we've been seeing. It's been going up and down on social media pages, but I want it all to come together. So when you watch those videos, it makes sense. You can tell really what the story is about, what the movement is about. I know at the end we're talking about bad governance, and we've actually seen it in display in the last 24 hours where the government imposed a curfew. The army was allowed to go in, lights were switched off, the crowd was fired into, and the president and the state government haven't actually acknowledged that. And now it's sort of gone completely the other way. There's looting, there's a lot of fires that have been set, but I want us to listen to these men as they talk about really what the SARS movement is. So I'm going to welcome them. One of them cannot have his video on or his name shared because it is unsafe for him to do so, because he would be putting his life at risk, and also with the people that he works with, people who are connected with him, with his family and his friends. So that is to show you that actually this thing is real. I've got another gentleman, his name is Muiwa, but they'll both share on their perspective of what the SARS movement is so that we can understand and then we can join in the movement. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time out. I'm going to go to guest one first. If you just want to say hello and talk about what the SARS movement is.
Hi everyone. My name is Mui. I'm here live in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm glad to be here.
Okay. And my other guest?
Hi everyone, good evening. Happy
Good
to be here.
Okay. Do you want to share with us what the SARS movement, what it means and how it began?
there is no, to the best of my knowledge, no precise meaning into what the EndSARS movement stands for. So it's an initiative driven by what I call a build up of um, all cultural reactions towards the youth by the police, just a build up of things that that the youths have been going through in the society over time, and the closest to base that that we were able to pick on was the police brutality, what I would call the most honest. I don't know which one is correct. Common. So it would be police brutality on the streets of Lagos, and it started in bits up until when it became full blown in the social injustice, full blown um, lack of professional conduct by the police, threat to your lives, on arrest, a whole lot of um, unfavorable actions and actions from police. So SARS did not start yesterday. EndSARS did not start in June and July. EndSARS had been in the works for months, for years, because there have been some individuals who are young, like the unseen drivers of the movement, who have been involved in a lot of um, police situation, civil arrest situation, police brutality situation, police arrest, and all of that. So it's been a build up of what these young people have been trying to get people out of bail, trying to mediate, try to offer legal representation to people. So it's a build up until when the cop, and then the conversation became very broad, and then there was by chance a mutual interest for people to come together, young people to come together and react and vent and express within the community what we've been dealing with for months, years in the past. So that's what has led to the build-up of the EndSARS movement. So EndSARS is beyond SARS as a police unit. EndSARS a is an amalgamation of a lot of things, a lot of social issues that the young people of Nigeria have been dealing with year for the last couple of years. It's not it's an organization that is registered together to fight a certain cause. No.
Okay. And my second guest, what's your definition of SARS for you?
Okay. I hope everyone can hear me because I think
Yes.
network is bad, but I'll go ahead. Just as Muiwa has said, EndSARS, it didn't come from anyone calling any leader saying, you know what, let's go on the street. It just came from pain that every single person in Nigeria has been going through. And I mean, at some point when it got too much, everybody decided to come together on their own and say it's enough. You know, Nigeria is a country where the bad governance is like it's that's what we go through, you know, and we have this kind of culture where we're sort of used to things like that, so we don't complain so much, you know. We have this hustling mentality, we have this mentality of, you know what, just be happy, go out and do your thing, you know, hustle, work as much as you can and earn for yourself. So we don't really face the government to complain and say, you know, you're not giving us this and that, you know. But at this time, they've taken away everything and they wanted to start taking away our life, and it got too much. Because we're saying, even if you don't want to give us all of these basic things that we are entitled to, why take our lives away? So everybody got tired, and we all just stood up and said, it is time to face the government, you know, and everybody got on the streets. This was not a call by anybody. This wasn't something that somebody said, you know, let's gather at this time. No, every single person got tired. You know, the rich, the poor, everybody. And so it became a movement. We ourselves were surprised as to what we're doing. Because what the government thought is that, at some point after 2 days, they'll get tired as we usually do. But no, this time around, it's a dedicated move. It's something that it can't even be explained, because we just woke up one day and everybody's like, you know what, we're going to face this. So I mean, it didn't start as a movement, but I mean, the name movement has been given to it because it's something, it's a force, really.
Yes.
So that's it, and now it's going way beyond just police brutality. We now want a new Nigeria. We want the government to work. It started as a movement against police brutality, because they've been killing, they've been stealing, they've been raping. They've been the criminals in the society. But when we continue to demand for this, we continue to see bad governance, we continue to see more police brutality, and we're like, okay, I think this is a movement for a new Nigeria. So the EndSARS movement has moved from just being a demand for end to police brutality to saying Nigeria has to change.
Yes, I think because the part of bringing actually social reform was what was like the end of the SARS movement. It was the new thing that was going to come, and I think actually it's almost impossible to meet a young person in Nigeria who has not encountered this issue with police. Even myself, I ordered something, and the young man was bringing it on a delivery bike, and he got stopped by the police. And the only reason he was stopped was that he shouldn't be out on the streets at that time of the night. And I remember him calling me and saying, oh, well, he was being held by the police, and I getting into the car. I was really infuriated. And I got there, and the policeman was drunk in his car, and he had a gun. And I was saying, you can't do this. This young man is working. He's allowed to earn his living. And they had not only stopped him, they'd stopped another young man who had this Keke My Pep, it's called. He was on his way back from church. And we had this back and forth. I think after a while, the gentleman who took me must have thought, oh, I'd forgotten that the policeman had a gun, because I was really going on. And then he said to me, can you please get into the car? So I had to leave him to deal with it, because he was thinking, if I stood there for that long, this policeman is going to do something. So it's to me, it was a constant threat that young people faced in Nigeria. It was something that was day in, day out in sort of even in avoiding the potholes, the no lights, all the difficulties that is in the country as well. The danger was that every time you left your house, there was a possibility you wouldn't make it back home, because you got stopped on the way by a law enforcement agent that is supposed to be protecting, but now has become the predator. Is that your experience?
In regards to what you just described, there are many more experiences as such. Now, the Nigerian police, we must remember, is, apart from your grassroots politicians or your everyday politicians, is the closest arm of government to the people. Nigerian police is the closest arm of government to the people. And Nigerian police, or the police in Nigeria, is a true reflection of the Nigerian system. So even when you live in a community or where some of the best police officers we have been assigned as personal escorts to politicians, personal escorts to community, to head of corporate organizations and whatnot. And then you have the bottom line. I won't call them, well, let me not say riffraffs. The bottom line,
the low-level policeman.
I want to put out there, and then they are a factor of what the leadership of that arm of government, what is most important to them, which is not justice, which is not civil policing, which is not peace and unity. It's a reflection of what they are as an organization. So what you have seen as an experience and what others, all of us are clamoring for, is what we are over time. Like I said, the corp just got filled up, and then a time of, in this said, it's
So it was an overflow of,
and that conversation better see out there today. Can you hear me?
The sound went off for a bit. I was thinking we should go to a video. The video is the one that was shown, was from the vigil that was had, so that people can understand some of these stories. I've said one, but this is a story of a young man that was arrested by the police.
I can, it's the audio is coming in and out. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we can't hear the sound from the video. So we'll just carry on till it's figured out. So the SARS movement that came out was birthed by sort of an overflow of frustration, it sounds like. Enough of all of the police brutality, the lack of governance. Now, did you think the goals were attainable? My second guess, do you want to answer that, if you can hear me?
Okay, the goal attainable? Definitely,
Yeah.
the goal is very attainable, and I think that it's going to be attained with our consistency. We have to be consistent at what we're demanding for. The reason why we're going through a protest is because for so long we have tried to dialogue with the government, we've tried to plead with the government, and they have refused to listen. But what we have done with this protest is to be able to show, to be able to call the attention of everyone and the whole world. And I really think that if we continue to be, now the problem with us in Nigeria is for so long we haven't really been united. Everybody just believes in, I just need to go and work and earn money. But this is the first time we've actually really come together to say with one voice that we need to do this. And then you'd see, if for everybody watching the protest, you will notice that what the government tried to do is to be to bring division into our midst, because they know that once we are divided, our goal will not be attained. But right now, what is happening is that there's a lot of destruction going on. But we're hoping that after this, and curfew here and there, but after this, we're going to continue, because if we stop this all of a sudden, we're not going to achieve anything. It's going to be a waste of time. So the goal is very achievable. But what we're fighting against is a very adamant government, and they're not gonna. They don't want to stop, and we can't stop too. So the goal is very attainable, but we need to be consistent, and we need to continue to stand, with one voice.
Okay, give me an example of. I know we talked about the EndSARS, and then we talked about the social reforms that we would like. So give me like 2 or 3 of the goals that have come out of this movement, really.
Okay. One thing one thing that I would say is, the first thing is, we have been able to come up with. I'll try as much as possible to not say too much about this, because it's something that's being worked on really. But
No, just like a
we've been able
general
to.
overview as to what the youth would like to see the government put in place.
Okay. I think the first thing I'm going to say right now is, there are a lot of reforms being carried out, at the back end, but the reason why there's still so much um, agitation out there is because the government is not showing it in terms of, there has to be a stop to harassment. There has to be a stop to killings. There has to be a stop to threatening of people. I think that's the first thing. Yes, I mean, I want to say something, I don't want to say it, but I'm very aware, because I'm very aware that there are reforms going on, there. Yes, true. But people are not seeing it. And the first thing is, you have to really show the seriousness by really stop killing people, stop harassing. That's the first thing we need to see. Now, the reason why people are still on the streets is because killings have not stopped, harassment has not stopped, people are being threatened. We're all being threatened. If once the government sees that you're involved in it, they begin to threaten you. So it really shows that there isn't any seriousness. And if that is not even seen at first, then even the reforms being done, people will not take it seriously, because the first thing that we can even see, the physical ones that we should even be able to see immediately, are not even being implemented. So what we're really saying is, because these things we're even demanding are basic things. Stop killing us. We want to leave, so stop killing us. So let's even see that. Let the policemen begin to protect, not harass. So this is, I think this is, out of this is the first most important thing, really, because if we don't even have this, we can't even begin to talk about moving forward.
Okay, I know the president made a statement much earlier, not the one he made tonight, about actually disbanding SARS, but then he replaced it with another police organization, because SARS was started it's supposed to be the special anti-robbery squad, aren't they? And this new one. So, what makes you think that he wasn't going to keep his word? Miwa, do you want to answer that question? Okay, I'm not sure Miwa can hear me. My second guess, you can answer, because if the president comes out and says that actually I'm going to disband SARS, but I'm coming up with something else, did you all not believe him?
Okay, so
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you now. We couldn't hear for a bit. Did you hear my question though? Okay, my second guess, go for it. Miwa will join when he can.
Okay. As I said at the beginning, the reason why we have gotten here right now and we're doing this is because we've been quiet for a very long time. We've had government tell us so many things. And right now, every Nigerian, everyone literally, if you ask, we don't trust the government. Whenever they say anything, we don't trust them. There's so many times, like 2 years ago, the vice president, when he was acting president, he did disband SARS. So many times SARS has been disbanded. And I think, again, and that thing is, the Nigerian government, they really think that we're not smart. So they do things and just try and, just quickly try and change things. Now, you cannot take people who have been killing. Now, let me just say a bit about the mindset of the police officers.
Yeah.
Police officers are not trained in Nigeria. They see themselves as God. So anytime they are challenged, they feel triggered. It's a trigger for them. When you challenge them, it's a trigger. Like, how dare you challenge me? Can't you see me with a gun? Can't you see me with, a uniform? And so this thing is a mindset problem. The way they think, the way they see things, they're not properly trained. Now, you cannot take people who have been killing people and change the name and then they continue to operate. That's good. So it's just like what they've been saying. Wahala change name. You have just, so what they have tried to do is to just make us, to make it look like they're doing something. What we're saying is, and that's why we're also pushing for a total reform. These policemen need reorientation. They need training. They don't even know. I can tell you that the police officers don't even know that there is a law that guards them. They don't know their powers. They don't know the limitations of their powers. They do not know that there is anything called the fundamental human rights of people. They don't know all of these basic things. They're not trained at all. So you cannot take officers who have been harassing people, change their name, and think that cannot solve nothing. And then you cannot, then for so many years you've been disbanding these people, but they still get on the street and continue killing people. So to show seriousness, you need to take these people off the street and then train them. Now, the training is not going to be something that you rush because, as I said, these people are used to this. And that is because, and you see, the rot is deep because even to the very senior police officers. So I hear things like the senior police officers even sort of give those officers like tasks. They're like, okay, today you're going out, you must bring this amount of money. So however you get it. Just make sure you're coming back with this amount. And different things that we hear out there. So this police, so everything, that's why we're calling for a total revamp of the police force because it needs to, it's a mindset thing and they need to change. They need to be aware of basic human rights. They need to be aware of power. The police officers are not meant to be, they're not meant to harass people. Okay, so police officers are there for only criminal offenses. You don't bring them when it comes to a civil offense. But you see, when somebody is owing somebody money, you see police officer beating up the person. The police doesn't have the power to do that, and they don't know this. So a lot of things, a lot of training has to go on, and it's not training that you just give people for 3 weeks, put them in a place. No, they have to go through mental health training. They have to go to psychological. They're not aware of all of these things. Some of them need their mental health to be checked. So it's a lot. So you cannot just, the government has to show seriousness. You can't just say that you have taken these people from SARS and take them to SWAT and expect that we should just keep quiet because they're going to keep killing. These are the same set of people. So they're not showing any seriousness at all.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that it would just have been the same set of officers, sort of recycled. They would just buy new uniforms and then they'll be back on the streets doing exactly the same thing they were doing before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, so because the reason I asked that question is that some people will say, "Oh, but the president had said this." Why are you?
If I may
continue, go on.
If I to
Halle?
If I may add to what is said.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. You want to add to what my
add to what you said?
Yeah.
I'm just going to pick. I'm going to pick from 3 things that I heard both of you mention. So the first thing was the 545. I think that the first thing that should have been taken by the government on the basis of 545 is not the police reform. The police reform is not going to happen overnight. The first 2 important stances in that 545 proposal is, number 1, getting justice for the atrocities of the police, unlawful conduct of the police in the recent past and in the present. Justice first. And then after that, the government begins to compensate for lives lost. The government begins to show empathy, show compassion, and then we gravitate towards the midterm goals and the long-term goals. Now, Lagos State government has not done that. Tonight, Ogun State government has posted on their Instagram page 4 cases. That is 4 civil cases. Ogun State government versus 4 different police officers that are going to start from November. So the reason why this decay in the conduct, in the professional conduct of the men of the Nigerian police force has become this gross is because they have not had the side of the law administer justice to them or upon them.
So they haven't been
So
accountable.
just like you
They
said,
haven't been made
if you take
accountable.
men away from SARS, if you take men away from SARS and you put them in SWAT, it's like pouring the same wine into different bottles. So the only reason why a police officer will tell you on the streets of Lagos, Nigeria, that I will kill you and nothing would happen is because he genuinely knows that nothing will happen.
Exactly.
So the first element that the government should have taken seriously if they really wanted to negotiate was justice. Okay, the youths have identified 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 police officers across Nigeria. Facts and figures, names, images, positions, individuals, atrocities. They could have taken that. They don't need any big long-term judicial drama. We do that in Nigeria. A lot. You could have simply administered justice in 30 days. And the same way President Obasanjo set up Oputa panel when he came into power in 1999 as a civilian president, and we were all watching the proceedings of the Oputa panel, you will make it live. So the youths who are going to boggle the shops, the youth who are going to boggle the supermarket, who are boggling the banks, who we all call hoodlums, there are no hoodlums. They are all young Nigerians. But the poverty in the land has turned them into what they've become. They would have sat at home watching that broadcast, following the story, distracted by that, knowing that the government has sat up to deliver justice. There cannot be progress and peace without justice, especially when we are coming from a backlog of evil, a backlog of injustice, a backlog of misconduct. So when the 5-for-5 was added over to the government, the first thing they should have done was deliver justice, deliver compassion, and then let's start to look at the midterm achievables, objectives. Police reform, you want to do psychological tests, you want to do training upon training. It's not going to happen in 1 day. It's not going to happen in 3 months. Why is it difficult for a young Nigerian graduate to be enticed to join the Nigerian police force? Off records, I have heard stories of people who had to pay 500,000 naira, who had to pay 1 million naira to join the Nigerian police force, to join the Nigerian Customs Service. And some of them, 2 years, 3 years after they joined, ended up building their own houses, ended up having 2 cars, 3 cars. What is the average salary of the Nigerian Customs officer? What's the average salary of the Nigerian police officer? Based on available information put online, the IG of police, the IGP of police annual salary is about 8.5 million naira. That's about $20,000. So the 5-for-5 is not what the president has said to us to be work in progress. There are certain things that are low-hanging fruits from that 5-for-5.
That can
and
easily
also
be
addressing what you said, which is that the president. Sorry?
No, you were going to say the president said something.
Oh, yeah, the president today, for me as a person, I beg to differ, did not say anything as far as I'm concerned. The president came to remind us. The president came to remind us that there's a 75 billion naira palliative for young people. Where is the 75 billion naira? Who is managing it? What agency is managing it? What websites can we go through to put our proposals there to access the fund? That is not what we need to hear from him at this moment. The first thing that a president of his caliber should have done on national television was to say, "Dear Nigerian youths, I am deeply sorry. And I take responsibility for everything that has happened." And then you now start to get in on that. Nothing stopped. Buhari cannot come to Lagos and he will be stoned. If you had done that on national TV today, say 2-3 days later, you come into the city. You are the president. They won't see you and stone you. And then you get into 1 or 2 homes and tell the mothers, I am deeply sorry for what has happened to your children. The Nigerian army and myself take full responsibility for it, and we promise you will never happen again.
And of
You have
course,
heard the PRO of the army, one of the top officers of the army, come out to say that the images at the Lekki toll gate were images of photoshopped Nigerian military men. So that is the level of that is how tall the demon that we are fighting is.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Weaver.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. I was going to say, I mean, with the movement, what is it that we could have done differently? Looking back, when I mean we, I mean parents, the church. What could we have done differently that would have gotten a better result?
Okay. I'm not a student of history, but I remember fully well that a certain reverend doctor marched with a lot of other top black men and black women leaders at Selma for black people to get the right to vote in America. They did not sit down in the church discussing it on the pulpit. They did not tweet. They were front of line, hand in hand with the people, and they moved. Archbishop Desmond Tutu was front on line with Nelson Mandela in Soweto over 30-something years ago. So as a church, the fact remains that as a Nigerian people, we are the enemies of Nigeria. Whether we are a church, a civil organization, a corporate organization, we have been selfish to this country. We have been insensitive to this country. And what has made this EndSARS protest very powerful is that for the first time, you have seen young people come together without barriers such as tribe, without barriers such as religion, without barriers such as social class, without barriers such as, oh, I look nicer than you do, celebrity or regular. We have come together. Speak.
Okay.
That is what we would have done, we should have done way back.
Years ago, yes. And we have to commend the young people, the youth. My second guess, what could we have done better, even us, the parents, because I think we abdicated responsibility and just accepted the status quo, and left it.
Exactly.
You all, we just thought, well, this is Nigeria, you can't change. But you all have seen and have come together. What can we do, even though we didn't do anything for so long? What is it that we can do differently or should have done earlier?
I think let me start by saying what
I don't know if
what could have been done.
Okay, speak for.
Let him.
Okay. Let me start by saying what could have been done earlier. I feel like parents, the church, everyone could have actually. I mean, when the system was already getting very bad, could have actually, put their voice out there. I feel like that could have been done, because I think my parents used to tell me a time when Nigeria was actually really thriving, you finish from school, there's a job immediately, things were going well, the naira to the dollar, all of that. And then the decay started little by little, and everybody just, basically just said, you know what, I'm not involved. Let me just go and hustle. Let me just take care of my children. As I said at the beginning, Nigerians have that, spirit of I'm just going to bear, I'm just going to be suffering and smiling. All we need is my money and my family. And everybody just kept quiet. And we now got to this stage. But I felt like if at the point where things were already beginning to get decayed little by little, we had spoken up, it would never have gotten to this. But I mean, that's the past. We've done that already. But now we're here. I think this is the time where every single person needs to get involved. So it's not just about the youths. It is now about, even though we are the ones at the forefront, what the church, our parents, every religion has to do now is to basically stand, with us, one voice. Because the truth is, we're going to only win this battle with one voice. So this is not the time for parents to begin to tell their children to not go and protest. I understand the safety and all of that, but we have to do this. This is not the time for parents to discourage anyone. This is not the time for the church to begin to say things to put religion. This is not the time for religion. This is the time for everyone to stand together. We need the support of all of our parents. We need the support of, all of the religious leaders. This is it. So that we don't, they didn't do it then. Now we are doing it. They need to support, not stand against us, not try to divide us, not try to scale. Because another thing that people are using is they're putting fear out there. Don't do this. You will no. Let us face. I think yesterday that I think at this point we need to begin to advise people to not give birth again, because we can't give birth to children in this situation. It's not possible. We can't have children in this kind of situation. So this is the time where they need to support us so that we can all move forward and stand against, bad governance.
Okay. I think I would say our generation spent a lot of time praying. And now that we can almost see that change is coming, we're now the ones who are resisting the change by saying it's not safe. They're worried. I saw a video today on YouTube, and this lady was coming out and saying to some of the youth, please don't go out anymore because you're going to be killed. And his response to her was, somebody's child has to die. It might as well be me. How many of us can they kill? So it's now gotten to the place where actually the youth are saying, just like you said, if we can't be free, if we can't have a better quality of life, we're prepared to lay our lives down just for a better Nigeria, a better future. Okay. I think I'm going to see if we can play a video just to show how how peaceful the protest was, and how people had come together, not using violence, just standing in support of this really, really, really amazing cause. It's yes, if you go to where it says the piece. Yeah. So we can see, people just sitting. There's another video where they're singing, and it's all right at I think at the beginning. I'm looking for it. So what I guess we all saw it as something really useful, and coming together, as one voice, as you said, one voice. Now, how did social media sort of impact the match? Hello?
Can you repeat that question, please?
Yes.
Social media.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Miwa. So you go, Miwa, and then my second guest will answer.
Okay. Social media is digital. And God, time, and nature was kind to our generation to have given it to us. We understand it, we know how to use it, and we are using it for the first time for the good of our nation. So imagine how many people have seen that same image you just shared, and how that has internally and externally put pressure on the government. It took close to 2 weeks for the president of Nigeria to come out to speak, and he spoke for only less than 20 minutes. When Floyd was killed in America, I think Donald Trump tweeted and spoke the same night or about the next day. So if we start to move forward, now we're in between the devil and the deep blue sea or the deep red sea. We either go all out against these forces, shed blood, lose a couple of lives, fight with our blood and sweat and regain the land, or we wait it out for the next 3 years. While waiting it out for the next 3 years, all institutions, religious, domestic, business, civil, social, begin to pay a lot of attention to the need for leadership knowledge.
Mm.
And let Nigerians understand that 2023 will be the definition of our future. So we can either peacefully wait out this government that has failed and then start to prep ourselves up. A lot of the gospel that is preached in our churches or in our religious institutions about prosperity, about this and that, should pipe down and let people understand the close proximity between faith and community. I very much doubt it that there will be any Sunday service anywhere on Sunday this coming Sunday in Nigeria, especially in Lagos. So it is high time religious institutions understand that community is an integral part of the religious dynamics of any organization, any religious institution. So if we have decided to go the route of full war and anarchy and whatever, revolution, and go the route of peace and swallow it and count our losses and move on, we must prepare ourselves to make sure that we fully use the internet, we fully use every platform available to empower the Nigerian youth. Don't forget, the Nigerian youth today are still divided. We are divided into three. The northern youth who follow the northern mandate and the northern politics don't understand what you mean by EndSARS. The southwestern youths, Lagos and environs, understand it very well. The southeastern youths understand it very well. We are going to know where the Niger Delta and South youth stand in the coming few days because the head of the Ijaw Youth Forum spoke today. So it is still a divided front. By the time we come together and say, okay, you know what? We don't want to go the route of what is happening. Okay, let me deviate a little bit, for example. If you go and conduct your research, we saw it online, we don't know how true it is. The Nigerian passport is the 43rd most valuable travel document in Africa on a country-by-country basis. A country like Rwanda, who a couple of years ago, after the Tutsi and Tutsi genocide that claimed close to 2 million lives, I want to use the word arguably, yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Arguably, the most attractive country in Africa today, Rwanda, because of what a beautiful leader in Paul Kagame is doing in that country, despite their loss. So today now we have two options ahead of us. These are practical. I'm sharing practical insights. Go all out, continue the agitation, continue the protest, come out. Parents, let me borrow something from what my friend just said earlier on. Even the parents at home who have been a part of the old generation are dividing youth. I have people who have said to me, the president has responded. They've disbanded SARS. Why don't you guys just go home? They don't understand that it's beyond SARS. Because who does the verification to be sure that, okay, a certain Corporal Sonny that I know, notorious Corporal Sonny that I know, I'm just making out a name, in SARS, yes, will not be another Corporal Sonny in SWAT and they'll post him to Ekiti. And he will still be show as usual. So today we need to decide where we want to stand. That's the next line of action, because some school of thought still believe that it is still going to get bloodier. We are still scratching the surface. It's going to get bloodier. I hope it doesn't go that route. I pray it doesn't go that route, because we need to now one of the things that we've shied away from, please indulge me for a few more minutes. One of the things that we've shied away from in the EndSARS movement is the fact that we've shied away from identifying leaders. And I say to my own friends in my own circle, we cannot have any movement or any agitation or any call or any protest successful without leadership. It doesn't have to be one person, two persons, three persons as arrowheads. We can have a collective of people from different backgrounds, but we want. And they, after every protest, after every day-by-day reaction, they come back to the drawing board. And they bring the next line of action. So those who are responsible for those thoughts, not on Twitter, who are responsible for directing the next line of discourse should be, are we going ahead? Are we going to go all out? Or we retreat and we say, okay, we have the battle, we retreat from the battlefield and we have 3 years to build our strategy. And the strategy is we have 3 years to vote out this bad government. Imagine a Shino Pella who is an honorable in the Federal House of Rep was prevented from speaking at one of their sessions this week. He was locked out of the session. That is Nigerian youth. So the honest truth remains that they will not hand it over to us on a platter of gold. We either fight for it now or retreat, regroup, retrain, re-strategize, and then wait for and meet them on the battleground 3 years from now. And don't forget, even in that 3 years time, they will still deploy government magic. They will deploy all the regular tools they use during election. So whatever we run away from now, we'll meet it in 2023. Thank you.
My other guest, do you want to contribute to what you has just said? I think I started off with how we can use social media, which we have. You've got that. So do you want to? You can speak from any. You can pick up on any of the points that he's brought up.
Let me start by saying thank you to Muiwa. I mean, because what you said is actually very powerful. I think social media has actually been a very, very good platform. And we thank God for social media. Because if we didn't have social media, I don't know how we would have gone about it. I don't know how we would have been able to have all the evidence that we have now. So social media is a very powerful platform. Thank God for Twitter. Thank God for all of those mediums. And we've been using it. But another thing I'll just really say is we need to now be careful with the kind of information we send out there. Because another thing is, when people begin to send in wrong information, it begins to cause sort of division. So we need to really begin to be careful with the information. But thank God for social media. It's been very helpful. So I want to also talk about the leadership thing that Muiwa mentioned. Now, the reason why this thing has been sustained this long is because what the government usually does is once there is a form of protest, so what they do is they'll quickly call those who are heading it and then have discussions with them, try and bribe them and all of those things. But you see, this one has been different because the government, they don't know who to call. So they will call this one, I'm not the leader. And the truth is, I've even come to see that no matter how, and Muiwa, I would really say that, well, I may be aware of this, there are actually people who we can say are leaders, right? But nobody knows them because once the government is aware that there is a leader or there is somebody that has a voice that would make people stop, what they will do, and they try to do it even now with people that they see as sort of influential, they call them and try and get them to their side. So those ones will come out and say, what, guys, stop. And I've even come to see that even if we had a leader now, the truth is, with the way things are going, nobody's ready to listen to anybody. They want to see things for themselves. They want to see the government being serious for themselves. So even if anybody comes out now and says, guys, let's stop protesting, nobody's going to listen. Because they are seeing that, and as you said, Muiwa, they are seeing that, why can't you even, if you even want to be serious, stop killing us first, stop harassing us. Let us even be able to protest. Let's be able to protest for 2 days on the street without any police harassment.
Okay. I think we're going to try and go.
But the more we're standing on the street. Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, I was going to say, I want to show the video where they were shooting into the crowd. And because I think it's important for people to know really what goes on. And maybe we'll try again to hear the story of the young man who was arrested, and the policeman proudly told his parents to go and find money to bail him. Okay, have we found it? Okay, please, for viewers watching, this is not child friendly. Okay. 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 I didn't hear the sound, but I think people would have got the picture. So this is what happened 2 days ago, where lights were switched off at the toll gate, and then the army came in and literally shot in the crowd. And I think because of social media and people having a lot of the things that we've seen have been people, using their phones as a means of not only sharing information, but weapon, because that's what we now have as evidence. So what do you think ensued? Why, before this happened? I just want people in the UK, or who are watching worldwide, to understand what had happened before the army started to shoot into the crowd. Muyiwa, do you want to go first?
With regards to what you just showed us, which is what happened on Monday, I think, or Tuesday.
Tuesday night.
Again, it points to one thing. I am, as a person, I'm personally not investing a lot into that particular occurrence, because it, for me, should have been anticipated, What I'm going to invest a lot of my thought is in the assertion and the demonstration and the confirmation that we are standing against powers that be.
Mm-hmm.
We are standing against powers on two fronts: politicians and leaders, government leaders. So let's take away the army that came to shoot. They did what they were told to do.
Yeah, they're working on their instructions. Yeah.
And they did what they were told to do. And go back to the origin of the plot. What is the origin of the plot? The origin of the plot is a reaction of leadership that is insensitive to the plight of its youth. Mm-hmm. Leadership that does not respect life and blood. So it's a case of it's done. And again, look at it. In the 20-minute broadcast of the president, not for one did he mention that event. Not for one did he acknowledge it. Not for one did he even say anything about it. The governor of Lagos confirmed and said what happened on Tuesday night was action taken by forces beyond him. So automatically, we live in a Lagos where there are actually things that, eventualities that can happen to us that are above the order of the governor. Mm-hmm. And we, as young people, have been made to believe over the years that the state begins and ends with the governor. Mm-hmm. That the governor is the chief security officer of the state.
Of the state, yeah.
So in a case where the governor cannot, in a state where the governor cannot confirm who turned off the lights, in a public domain, in a public facility, in a public communal facility, mm-hmm. where the governor cannot confirm how the military got there. So automatically, it's a clear reflection of the society that we live in, the community that we live in, where it is clear that the governor is actually not the number one citizen of the state.
Yes. My second guest, do you want to comment on that? On the shooting?
Okay. So I mean, before that happened, the governor at some point had declared a curfew, stating that I remember I was at work at that time, and he just declared a curfew, saying that everybody by 4 o'clock, there'll be a curfew, and everybody had to start. Before then, I remember that when I stepped out, I think that the Ikeja had been blocked. Some people had blocked the road. The policemen were out already, and immediately there was a curfew declared. Policemen came out straight and all of that. And I mean, so we also saw online that the protesters at Lekki, what they did was, because they heard that there was a curfew, what they did was every one of them sat down. Now, Lagos is traffic, so there is obviously no way anybody would have gotten home even before 4. So it was very insensitive. It was very abnormal for a curfew to be declared and to start by 4. And so, because these people, even if they had left the protest ground, there was no way in this world that they would have gotten home. So what they did was they told everyone to just sit down quietly, hold the Nigerian flag, and hopefully, even if anybody comes, they will not be harassed. So everybody sat down, and you see that these guys were peaceful. Everybody's sitting down, and I mean, I remember being at home and actually wondering what's going to go on. I mean, I knew, knowing that these guys cannot even get home, and at about I think 7 or about that time, we just started hearing that the army had gotten there, and I mean, the thought of everyone was, okay, they'll get there and just ensure that everything is peaceful, everyone is just there, and they maybe protect even the people that are there. But all of a sudden, I mean, we had already started noticing that they had been removing the cameras, and the governor saying today that it wasn't the camera watching, and all of that doesn't really make any sense, and they started shooting at people, shooting. And the team that I work with, I mean, I can also mention that, and we had to start sending ambulances to people. Even the ambulances, they were sent back. They were not allowed to cross. Then we had to put more pressure again. Then they allowed them to come in, and there were just so many things. And the thought I had in my head was, why shoot? I mean, the best thing you could have done was, stand there at the army and ensure that everywhere is peaceful. And then maybe tomorrow, that's today, I mean, Wednesday, just ensure that everybody gets home safely.
Yeah,
make sure everybody gets home safely.
Yeah.
But you open fire. So it meant that the order that had been given, even from all the removing of the cameras and all of that, is get there and shoot.
It was
because,
leading
I mean, immediately got there. Yes,
Yeah.
that's all they did. They started shooting. And all of the help that was gotten, and I can confirm that all of the help gotten was private citizens, the ambulances that got there, the hospitals that decided to help, and it was just all from the citizens of Nigeria. It was private citizens, even the next day I even had to call, because my auntie has a pharmacy. I had to call her to ask if they could supply, some of the medical kits that they needed and all of that. She had to also, put it up. So it was all from private citizens. The government did not even, at that point in time, they did not even supply any form of help. It was all people calling for help. And so it was a really sad incident. And from all the indications, and again, thank God for social media, it was obvious that this was their plan from the beginning, and they just went there, executed it, and it's really a sad, it was really the darkest time in Nigeria, really.
Yes, because what had
Now,
started.
let me, if you don't mind,
Go on.
If you don't mind, let me add something to it. Now,
Yeah.
What was circulating across social media a day before that happening was first and foremost a notification or an announcement by the Nigerian army that they were going to kick off an annual military routine that they usually conduct called the Operation Crocodile Tears.
Mhm.
That came into
Yeah.
news, I think, from like Saturday or Sunday, and then they quickly did a press release to say Operation Crocodile Tears is not the military's counter action to end SARS protesters.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
they had softened the ground
Mm.
so that the people or the young protesters would not feel threatened in any way, shape, or form. And then we had also circulated some information that was I think was shared by people who had close contact to people in the military, saying that no military personnel would shoot at a Nigerian carrying the Nigerian flag.
Yeah.
So you could see how we used the social media as well to educate and to distract.
Mhm.
So the distraction was get a flag, sit on the ground, sing the national anthem, and any military officer there would dare not shoot at you.
Yes.
Now, they got a hold of that information. And then they planned a counter action. Now, the counter action is when the military encounters these young people in darkness. It is easy for the military to come out tomorrow and say, number one, it is unidentified military men. They've done it before. And number two, we did not see the Nigerian flag. Number three, they had finished singing the Nigerian anthem before we got there. So they needed to play out a contradictory action plot. That is why I am of the opinion that what we as young people, what every well-meaning Nigerian who sees this as a fight to win, whether now or in the coming years, should not forget is that there is a plot, there is a grand scheme.
Mhm.
Today, it's the young people that have come out to do EndSARS. We can all retreat and life will go back to normal. Everybody will lick their wounds.
Yeah. Yes.
But don't forget, it can be 6 months from now, it could be mothers coming out, women, elderly women coming out. It's happened in the past before. The Aba riot.
Mhm.
Mm. Mm.
So what we should not forget, as a lesson learned from that event of Tuesday, that sad event of Tuesday, is that there is a plot. And it has opened our eyes to the fact that in Nigeria, anything is possible.
Anything.
I want to believe that you live in the UK. I am sure you have never seen the British flag with blood before.
No, not on the streets now, the way it was.
I'm sure you have never seen the American flag with human blood before.
Mm.
Young people were wrapped with Nigerian flag soaked in blood on Tuesday. They were not at the war front. They were not soldiers.
Mhm.
So it is a pure demonstration of the fact that the grand plot that we are head on against is strong, is absolute, and is as tough as the Pharaoh.
Mhm. Yes. So the
So
fight
we
is
need to
against.
brace up. Nigerians in diaspora. Sorry?
Go on. I can hear you.
Go on, please, go on.
You were going to say the Nigerians in the diaspora. You are going to give us a challenge.
Yes, so the Nigerians in diaspora and Nigerians back at home, there has to be a collaborative effort to wrestle this country into a new beginning. Because if the Nigerian diaspora are going out, leaving their work livelihood, leaving their job, clamoring for justice and fairness for us in Nigeria. And those of us in Nigeria are quick to be looking for, please end the coffee, let's go up about our normal business. Then we have all lost. We have all lost. Because again, I still go back to the statement, what everybody was waiting for was the presidential broadcast that happened this evening. No mention of over 100 lives, young lives, lost in just 48 hours. And that is simply because the Nigerian youths, at least the civil protesters, retreated. Imagine if they had come out again yesterday, we'll probably be counting lives into the thousands right now.
Yes, I agree.
So it is something that we need to take seriously if we truly want a better Nigeria. If we truly want a better Nigeria, it is the better Nigeria we're looking for is not in the hands of ACN or APC or PPP or PDP or YDP or SSL or NDA. It's in the hands of every Nigerian inside and outside of Nigeria.
I think that
look at how the American community right now they are taking that. Okay, go ahead, please.
I was saying that is something that I think we now have to understand and accept, that the change has to come from us. We cannot no longer rely on the government because the government has failed. The initiatives that has begun now and will continue is dependent on how much we choose to sustain it and choose to believe that there can be a new Nigeria. Yeah. You made a statement about
absolutely.
Yeah, about change coming from us, which is what we talked about. But also there's a lady who has been fundamental, and I hope this time we'll be able to hear her. I'm just going to play one of her more recent videos, just to buttress the fact that you've said about actually that the movement has to begin with us. Her name is Aisha Yusuf. She, I think, is a force all by herself. And I think the video I was looking for is like, not for us to lose, take our eyes away from the ball. My second guest, do you want to talk about that? Because the video is just loading. Do you want to talk about how she has contributed in her own way, just to buttress what Muyiwa has said, that actually if we all played a part, there can be a change.
Okay. I mean, I say this to people who want to listen, that Aisha has been there even before we got to this state. I mean, she's always been there. She's always been against the evil that the government has been doing. Sometimes you see her going by herself. She has been very outspoken. She's been a force. I feel sometimes that, she's been there. We're just joining her because she's been a voice.
She has been a voice, yes. Even from
yes, she has. I mean,
yes, she has.
Yes, and she's very fearless. Very, very fearless. I mean, I've been on. She does this call, where she talks about government and all these things, and I've had that interaction with her like twice. So she's very, very passionate about Nigeria, young people, and what is going on. And I can tell you that she's very excited about what's going on now, because like
Yes, I can see. We'll go to the video now, and just to hear.
So I mean, I commend her now, right?
Dear Nigerian youth.
Yes. So
let me tell you something. You have the government where you want the government. You're doing amazing. You're doing something that we haven't done. You have them right where you want them. Please don't get distracted over this issue of who is this, who is that, who is not what. Eye on the ball. Forget the distraction. There is nothing yet for you to go into fighting mode over. There's nothing. So focus on your message, focus on what the result that you want, and that's what is most important. Yeah, we've seen the headlines from the government, but have you seen the execution plan? What is the basis for a committee? Let me even ask. So they will say, okay, they form committee, people are not sitting at the table, oh, they are doing the work, where everybody goes, and can the government bring an execution plan where you know A, B, C, D, this is what it will do from this time to this time, so that if it's not done, you know this is it, this is what will happen from with time frame. That is what is most important. I think there are a lot of people who have not been part of this protest as you would expect. And the next thing they're trying to discredit it by talking about the protest being monetized. Come on. If anybody collects money for protest, drive the person out. Let those who didn't collect do their thing. If yours is monetized, another person's isn't monetized. I wonder why we always want to do this, drag things down. This is part of the things that had hurt the older generation. And that is why we've remained divided, and we've never been able to get a country that works for all of us. Please don't allow this. Don't allow the narrative of people who feel that they thought when this protest was called, it was the last one that was called for EndSARS, where people never turned out, and then they didn't take part in it. And now they have seen the way citizens have come at the time. They're looking for everything to discredit the protest so that they'll be able to say that's the reason why they didn't join. Please, don't get distracted. Focus on the issue. You're doing so great. You've woken up. You found your voices, and you have even given us also voices. That is what is most important. End SARS now. SARS must end. And we must have a great nation. Period. Nothing else matters. Thank you.
Okay, we hear her actually saying, encouraging the youth. The video I wanted was the one she did after the shooting. Well, I think this actually speaks well as to where we are now. What can we do to keep this movement going? She's talked about keeping your eye on the ball, not getting distracted. What I mean, I will ask from the perspective of, not only Nigerians, but Africans in the diaspora. What can we do to contribute? What can we do to help? My second guest, do you want to answer that question?
Okay.
And if you could tell us what the focus would be now, because are we continuing?
Okay. I think I'll start by saying I know that someone called me also from the UK yesterday asking what can be done and already saying what they've done already and how they're writing to the leaders there to ensure that things are done. And I mean, I'm really, I mean, when I see all the protests around the world, I'm really amazed and really grateful that everybody's lending their voices at this time. But one thing I would really say that needs to be done is we need more pressure. We need more pressure. We need more pressure. The reason why we've been able to get, and I have seen the reason why I'm asking for more pressure is because I have seen what pressure can do. The reason why we've been able to get to where we are now is not because the government wanted to do it, it's because of the amount of pressure, both from the international space, from us here, on social media. We need more people to learn. We need more numbers. And that's why you see that anytime we're talking online, we're always tagging the international community because we need everybody's voice. So would really appreciate it if we have, more pressure from people. I know that people also spoke about financial contributions and all of that. Right now, as much as you can, the government is, I would say they are tracing accounts. They are even blocking accounts that have been used, as a form of donations and all of that. So I tell them that what, for financial donations, hold on with that for now. Let us, as been said, we need our eye on the ball, which is, and so we need more voices. We need more people to become creative. Get online and then just show the support. Let the government be able to see that we have more people supporting. Then, because if we have people sort of on the side of the government, then they will have the balls to be able to say that to be able to not do the right thing, right? But when they see that there are more people backing us up, then they would know that this is serious. So we need more pressure, we need more support, we need more voices raised. We need all the leaders in the international space speaking about this, debating about this. solving problems for us. I mean, there's just more pressure, really. That's what I would really say that, we need from everyone right now.
Yeah. Okay. Muiwa.
If I may, we need more voices, but we even need more than voices. We have two parts ahead of us at the moment. Part one, or pathway one, is to stay on the lane, that be resolute, keep head on, keep going. We have to pay some sacrifices, or make some sacrifices, pay some price, or we retreat. Now, going by the Yoruba adage, which says, we can tell, okay, you've said you've ended SARS. You have taken into consideration what we have presented. We will retreat by 45 days. Retreating for 45 days means that we will not have any physical protests for 45 days. But over that 45-day period, online, through our voices, through our personal platforms, through our videos, through our creative content, and if you what we call the government scorecard, to show you what you have not done in 45. Our protest will be on the 1st of January 2021.
Okay. I think also what
we will retreat
I mean
for 45 days.
30 45 days.
30 days. That's 45. Are you with me?
Yes. Okay. I think what I found surprising is
we will retreat.
Can I just say
and say, okay, you know what? Government said you've listened to us, let's give you some space. We'll give you.
Okay. I think
I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere with my narrative.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. It was breaking up a bit, but
yes,
we can hear now. Do you want to repeat what you said?
Okay, so what I was saying is, at the moment, like I said, can you hear me?
We can hear you, but you go in and out. We heard about you saying that the protest can sort of be silent for 45 days, but we keep on the pressure on the media, and giving the government time to actually implement some of the changes, and then we review. My second guest, you want to? Okay.
Let us,
can you,
as youths, if I were. Go on, please. I can hear you. Go on.
Okay, we couldn't hear you. We were waiting for you. Okay. I'm going to ask my second guest to speak. Okay, can you hear now? Can you speak now?
So I was. Yes, I can hear you, but the audio is pretty.
Yes, you're breaking up. Okay. The second guest, you had something you wanted to say. Do you want to say it before?
Okay.
Hopefully.
Okay. So I agree with Muiwa saying that we need to retreat for a while and then let the government do something. But before that, and I think I've been saying this and I would really continue saying it. Before that, we need to we want to see some level of seriousness. So I'm going to say this: let's be on the streets for 2 days, one day, and let's see the government not harass and not kill anyone. And then that's a show of seriousness. Because yes, we need to retreat and then give them some time because all of these things will take time. But can they even show that they are not going to kill it? Up till today, they are still threatening. Up till today, they're still shooting. Up till today, that's not any level of seriousness at all. They're not. That means they're not ready to implement anything.
Ready to
So
compromise.
let's even be on the street for 2 days or one day, and then let them not even harass, let them not kill, let them not do anything. Then, I mean, it gives us the mind to say, okay, you know what, guys, let's even go and stay. So it's not like as if we've been on the street for more than 10 days. It's not like we wanted to be there, but we just wanted to see that these guys are serious. So even for one day, just don't kill, don't harass, don't do any of that. We would have left the streets in. It's not like we don't want to give them time thinking. We know that these things will take time. We know, but there are some things that can be done right now, like not harassing, not killing. Even today, I mean, the I can't mention her name, but one of us was threatened today. Two, not even one, two. So they are not showing any sign of seriousness yet.
Okay. I think what I found, I mean, yesterday I must have signed like 3 petitions, 3 different ones to put pressure on the British government. But actually, what I'm surprised is that nobody has commented on what is going on in Nigeria. It's been mentioned, on the BBC. I think I saw an interview today on Al Jazeera, interviewing a special advisor to the president. So what you both are agreeing is that as long as the least we can do is continue the protest online. When I mean we, I mean those of us that are living outside Nigeria, so that there is a constant reminder of what needs to be done, and the changes that we are hoping for.
The pressure has to continue.
The pressure has
We
to.
cannot even let there be a break. It has to be that continuous pressure.
Okay. Muiwa, are you back in?
So, if I may add something to what you both are presently talking about. For me, Nigerians in the diaspora are promoters.
Okay.
Nigerians in diaspora are promoters. They are going to promote the clamor content that we have to generate from here. That is what they have done. The heat started from here, and they took it up, and then it got the global attention that we wanted, and that global attention put pressure on the Nigerian presidency to have the president speak today. So now going back to what can we do, like I was saying earlier, we can either decide to keep voicing and voice. The Nigerian government has demonstrated something clearly. It is not a government that is shaken by voice. They listen to the noise, choose what they want to hear. So we need to be strategic moving forward. So like I was saying earlier on, if the yearnings of the elderly in Nigeria is for us as youth to calm down, the president has disbanded SARS, give them space, give them time, no problem. We will retreat. I'm just saying we can retreat for 30 days. We can retreat for 60 days. And at those 30 days, we'll give you a government scorecard to say, you have failed in this, you have not done this, you have not done this, you have not done this. And while we are giving you that periodical scorecard, we will always periodically organize either monthly or bi-monthly or once a quarter protest. And the protest is not enough. We will begin to drive a state-by-state, nationwide youth engagement. Aisha Yesufu is not that. We can identify other true young Nigerians like her who can champion the conversation in the East. Identify young leaders in the West who can champion the conversation. Identify young leaders in the East who can champion the conversation. There is no way the powers that be can beat 130 million Nigerian youths if we come together and say whether today or next year or 2023 we want to take our country back. They cannot beat us. If the work is so strategically done, young Nigerians in diaspora will come back home to vote. If the work is so done perfectly well, we can pressure them to let us do electoral voting in 2023 or diaspora voting, where people in diaspora can vote. So either we beat them out of the way, we get them out of the way by election, because at the end of the day, what we were yearning for last week is end police brutality. As it ended, SARS were still out in Ikorodu on Sunday. Some members of the Nigerian police that are on the streets today are members of the defunct SARS unit.
Mm-hmm.
So the first direction that the government can genuinely demonstrate to us that they are serious is the direction of justice first and compassion. Even if the police come back today and none of them is booked for something or none of them is tried for an offense, trust me, they will come out with double anger, because they have seen some of their superior officers being mobbed, being killed, being beaten to death by young Nigerians.
There
They will
might
come
be.
out and take it. They will take it upon the populace. They will take it upon the populace. But what can keep them in check is if, as they are coming out, some of their police stations have been burnt. Some of their munitions have been taken away. As they are bringing them out, if you are bringing them out and they are made to understand that the erring officers who the young Nigerians have identified are on trial, and some of them will face the death penalty, some of them will face imprisonment, that can put them in sort of mental check, where they now understand that the power belongs to the people, even when you are policing them. Because commit a crime, all I need to know is your name, or I can get your police number, and I can get the jurisdiction of where you are working. And through a web or a community reporting portal, I can state a case and they can open it up against you. So those are, it's not in the voice anymore. The voice has done the job. The voice has gotten the attention of the world. It is in the implementing the actions, the strategic moves upon those voices.
Okay. So let's see that the government means what they have said. That would be proof that they've heard. That's what you're saying. Okay. We've come to time, gentlemen. Is there? I'll go to my my guest first to ask if, or one of them, I shouldn't say my guest. What would be your last word to anybody who's watching?
Let me start by saying thank you for doing this. Thank you to everyone lending their voices around the world. At this time, this is how I see it for Nigeria. We've been in darkness for a long time, and this period has come to liberate us, right? And we're not going to lose what this period has come, because this is the birth of a new Nigeria, indeed. And it's coming. It's good that we're on the street, and moving from there, we're going to begin to come up with strategic plans, moving forward. And I just want to really say that to everyone really watching this, please, we need to put more pressure. We need to lend our voices. We need to do this continuously until we see what we want. I mean, I've heard a lot of people. I've had friends and people who are saying run away to other countries, but I keep saying that other countries will. I mean, this is our nation. This is something we have to build. So we cannot give up. No matter what they try to do, and that's the leaders now, we cannot give up. If we stand as one, we would actually see the Nigeria that we've been praying and anticipating. Because I know that I know that I can personally say that, apart from people on the street, because we need the ones on the street, there are actually moves even from young people, in communities, community development, and all of that, engagement, reforms, doing things, and the more things are going to come up. And at the end of the day, we can, actually get to where we want to get to. And as Muiwa has said, there's a lot of there has to be a lot of reform that is going to be done with the leadership structure. I mean, because it starts from we've been able to see that leadership is our problem. Nigeria is blessed and favored, but our problem has always been for a long time leadership, and it's a mindset thing. So as much as the leaders need a mindset, reformation, we the people also need a mindset reformation so that we can have that nation. So yeah, a lot of work is going to be done in the next in coming days and years, and all of this is not going to take it's not going to take just a few weeks. It's something that we will continue to do, but we have started it and we're going to complete it, by the grace of God. So, I mean, as much as we need all the support, because when the government sees that everybody is supporting this move, they would have no choice but to do what they are meant to do. And right now we're talking about this government because come 2023, I'm, I mean, I can say very boldly that we're not going to have these kind of people there as leaders. The leadership will change and then we'll begin to put the way forward. But even before then, we're already going to start putting the way forward for our nation now. So thank you to everyone, and again, let's just keep praying because as much as we're doing all of this, we also need wisdom. Wisdom is required, so that we take the right steps and do the right thing. So thank you.
You're welcome. Muiwa, what would be your last word for us tonight?
Uh, just like my friend has said, he said almost everything I want to say. God will do his part. We will do our
Yes.
part. Um, we will not stop. Just like I said, all of us will not only lend our voices, pay attention now, because what
Mhm.
has robbed us of time is young Nigerians. We have been like a bicycle towards leadership and towards politics and towards governance. But this period that we are in has opened our eyes and actually giving us that hope to understand that there's power in youth.
Mhm.
So we will keep on. We'll keep we'll keep in touch with base. We'll keep an eye on what the government is doing. We'll keep voicing our opinion, and as we're voicing our opinion, I pray that the leadership of the youth, the emerging youth structure,
Mm.
begins to put together a strategic short-term plan, mid-term plan, and long-term plan to ensure that we get to the final destination. The final destination is a new Nigeria. The final destination is a Nigeria that everybody can be proud of. The final destination is a Nigeria where you can stay in and plan and pray and work and project prosperity,
Mm.
where you don't have to pray to receive American visa, when you don't have to
Mm.
pray to get a British visa, a Nigeria that you be
Mm,
proud of.
yes.
So that's my take. And I pray that just like he has said, God will help us, direct us. It's a clarion call on every Nigerian that Nigeria matters to, young and
Mhm.
old. This is the time. If we lose this battle, whether temporarily or permanently, we may never get to this battlefield again. Thank you, everybody, and good night.
Um, I want to say thank you to both my guests for sharing about a dream that I think we have all had for many, many years, a dream of a new Nigeria where it's an equal opportunity place where people can go to school, be educated, get jobs, and prosper. And actually, I think what has come out of this conversation for me was the fact that we need to be united. We need to speak with one voice. We need to keep the pressure up. And something that has struck also that actually everybody can do their own little bit. And this fight is by Nigerians for Nigerians. We're not going to wait for the West to rescue us. We're not going to wait for the other African countries or any other country in the world to rescue us. We are going to fight for our nation. We are going to keep on the fight till a new Nigeria is born. We celebrate all the people who are in the fight, those people on the front lines, those people who've risked their lives, who've left jobs. And most especially, we don't want to forget the people who have died in the past, and those who lost their lives on Tuesday night. We're going to close this evening. I think the videos we are showing the protest that was yesterday that went to number 10 Downing Street, and walking through the governmental area of London, young and old, showing support. And at the tail end of it, we are not going to leave prayer. We're not going to leave the contribution, the church. So there's a video also at the end of a leader, a father in the nation. He's the president of the Pentecostal Union in the United Kingdom. He's also the pastor of Jesus House, London, parish of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. He's also the chairman of the board for the Redeemed Christian Church of God. So until I see you next week, stay safe, keep the pressure on, tag the videos, share, and remember Nigeria in your prayers. Thank you for watching. My name is Lydia Khalil.
And as I was coming in to record, we started getting reports that the law enforcement agents on the streets of Lagos had started shooting at unarmed, defenseless young protesters. We're told that the provocation was the fact that there was a curfew and they were outside when the curfew was in force. I have experienced some very sad things in my life, including the loss of a wife. But today was one of the saddest for me, that a government that was elected could be complicit in the killing of young people who are protesting the sad and sorry state of the nation, and the fact that if the nation continues along this trajectory, there's no future for them. And whilst I don't know what the reasons that will be adduced for this sad evil that has taken place, I don't know what reasons are going to be given, even if it is a renegade bunch of law enforcement officers. Surely the government must take responsibility because it happened on their watch. I just want to say that God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man sows, he will reap. If innocent children are killed on the streets, their blood is shed. Blood has a way of speaking in places that most of us don't understand. A lot of those who are in places of authority, our leaders, have children. Their children haven't been shot and killed by law enforcement agents of the government. If I know how these things work spiritually, unfortunately, without a repentance and without turning to Christ, I can guarantee that there will be a price to pay. There will be a price for the blood of these innocent children that has been shed on our streets to pay. There will be a price to pay in the hereafter, and there will be a price to pay now. And let's not think that we can protect our own children from paying that price. It's very clear in Scripture that our actions will affect our children, their children, their children, and it will really run through the whole family line. We have seen it happen before. I am certain that there are those who are part of this government who will be as abhorred at what has happened as most of the country is. I want to say to you that unfortunately the doctrine of collective responsibility works both naturally and spiritually. And that if you're not speaking out because you are a part of the government, then you will be held responsible naturally and spiritually. To anyone who loves Nigeria, anyone who's Nigerian, anyone who cares about that nation, you simply cannot keep quiet. You must speak out. You must support these young people who have done nothing but demand what we should have demanded years ago, that we're governed in a way that is equitable, that the nation of Nigeria fulfills its potential. To not support them with everything that you have will be shameful, to put it mildly. To the young people who are out there and who have paid this enormous price just for wanting a better country, we say thank you. We just thank you for giving the nation hope. And to all those who are fueling what is happening on the streets in terms of the oppression and suppression and sadly the killing of these young people, the world has changed. Every one of those young people is a journalist with a camera. That's how the rest of us in the world know what is happening. Gone are the days when you could do it in darkness and secrecy. These things are being recorded for the whole world, and people will be held to account. I'm sure we've underestimated the strength of these young people, their commitment, and frankly, what choice do they have? If they don't, they probably end up dying. If they do, they might be killed by their own law enforcement agents. But then, when they do, they fuel others who have probably sat on the sidelines, who now say enough is enough. Let's not also underestimate the strength of Nigeria in the diaspora, because that strength, I'm certain, is going to be mobilized against this evil that is sadly being perpetrated. I've marveled at the strength and energy that I have seen in the diaspora. I don't know any young person that hasn't been involved in a march or a protest or a vigil. I know many who are not young who have been part of it. I certainly believe that God has a plan for Nigeria, and that in the midst of this, His plan is being worked out. May God help that nation and help the nations of the world. Amen.
LCBN television broadcasts 24/7 on UK Freeview Channel 271, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, Google TV, See Love World, LCBNTV.com, LifeComTV.com.